Hello Libra, thank you very much for tuning into this week's read. For the main part of the read, I am using Mystical Moments, Tarot of Mystical Moments by Katrin Wells Stein, if I can get it on camera. There's a website for them, usgamesinc.com. So you're on freeze frame there if you're interested. Enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. Supportive Oracle cards, spellcasting Oracle cards by Flavia, Barbara, and Lizbeth. They're their full names, but there is a website for them, shewhoisart.com. There's a couple other websites there too, so if you want to freeze frame and enjoy as you will, feel free to. Okay, what do we have for Libra? Libra. What's up with that? When I was shuffling, I was like, we're going to talk about it. Like, what are we talking about? Ooh, okay. It's time to go forward and deal with something. It's time to talk about it. So we're going to talk about it. It's time to talk about it. Somebody doesn't want to. Somebody doesn't want to. But it's time to talk about it. Commitment. There's a commitment here. We have to commit to getting to the end of it. It's time to talk about it. Now, you're very good at amusing people if you see it fit. That's what I'm getting. If you want to amuse somebody, you can do that. I feel like we've been putting something off. We've been putting something off. We've been moving around it. There's going to be another moment that comes in very fast. Your opportunity's coming in very quickly. It's kind of like, how do I explain this? It's kind of like I haven't seen somebody in a while. The opportunity hasn't really arisen for me to bring up a conversation. Bam, the opportunity is going to show up really quick. It's kind of like, almost like you're waiting in the waiting room at a doctor's office and somebody you've been needing to talk to shows up. And it's kind of like, oh, I don't know if this is the right time. And then somebody says, oh, or the waitress, or not the waitress, the receptionist says, oh, we're a little bit backed up. It's probably going to be another half hour before we get you in there. Oh, so I'm going to be sitting here for a half an hour. So you're both going to be sitting there for a half an hour, kind of like, okay, we're both here. The opportunity is here. Maybe we should talk about it now, especially because we're in public. They won't freak out on me. So we can have this conversation and it won't get too uncomfortable. It's a conversation we've been avoiding is what I'm getting with the Six of Swords. Are you avoiding it? It's kind of like, I'm not going to bring it up until I can actually sort it out correctly. I feel that that's your energy, kind of like, not until I can handle it correctly and actually have all the pieces in place. I'm waiting to get everything together, but I've been avoiding a conversation is what I'm getting. For good reason, you have your reasons. And you've been going towards something very slowly, very carefully, although it has been unfolding. And at this point, it's kind of like your opportunity has come forward. I just feel like when it's coming forward, I'm not expecting it. And it doesn't take a lot to get this conversation started. You just got to open the door. I feel like the other person will give information. The other person giving information. Now, that makes me kind of feel, I don't know if I like it. In the sense of like, I'm getting good information and I know I am. How it's being said. Something about how it's being said. This person might vent a little bit to you. They're releasing this block. If it doesn't take a lot for you to open this door. Somebody's been waiting to talk. But, I don't know, for some reason they haven't been. And when it's the right moment between you and them, there's been a block for the longest time, but you just open the door and passion cancels out the block. And then this card comes in, which is the opposite of you guys. This is the Emperor, which talks about Aries. Aries is the opposite of Libra. Which, when the two of you, like when these two energies work together, Aries tends to think that Libra is full of crap, Libra thinks that Aries is just very rude and crude. It doesn't mean that perception is right for either side, but it's just kind of like they don't match up well, usually, stereotypically. I mean, everybody's chart's a little bit complicated. Like, there's how many planets, there's the rising sign, all that good stuff going on, the north node, the south node, all that good stuff. So just stereotypically, those two elements don't match well. Ironically, they're kind of like tempering steel. They can make something, when these two elements come together, even though they're not the most friendly for each other, they can really create a lot of advancement and improvement. The reason I'm saying this is I feel like the person is saying stuff to you and it's very rude and crude is kind of how I feel like it's coming through. But this is the information you need. Very, very good, reliable information. It may come across very rude and crude, but it's kind of like it's what you need for prosperity, is the short answer. Because when you get this from them, they get really comfortable, by the way. They seem to feel like you're going to fix it. This is the challenge card. I feel like what you want to do is when this person dumps this information on you, it does feel like it's a little rude and crude. Diplomatically, I want to just kind of praise the truth and just kind of walk away from how it's being said because it's just personal. If you can do that, it depends on what you're dealing with, granted. So if you can do that, I would advise doing that. And give this person also the impression you need time to put this together so this can go correctly. You want to kind of give them the confidence that you'll handle this and it's for the best. But you don't want to just say that. You got to kind of what is it they need from this? And I can make that happen if you just let me handle it. If we're going to make it really simple, I want my $5 back from Susie. I can get you that, but you got to let me handle it. If you try to go in there and handle it, she's going to argue that she doesn't owe you anything. You're not going to get that $5. But if you leave it to me, I can handle it. Just leave it to me, and I'll get that for you. I feel like we want this. Whoever's giving you the information, you want them to kind of thank you for the information. Then I'll get you what you need, but you got to step back and let me handle it. If you go and try to handle it yourself, you're not going to get that probably. Maybe some of it, but not all of it. But if you step back, I think I can get all of it for you. So we want that Sun card with them. I feel like they're going to be inspired to kind of take things in the matter of their own hands. I don't think that works well. I think this works a lot better for everybody if you handle it. But they do have the Sun card. So, in truth, they're inspired and they'll get what they want out of this situation. It's just, if they go forward, it works out for them. If you go forward and you get them to hang back, it works out for everybody. I'd be aware of that. I don't know. They're just kind of saying, yeah, if you just let them go willy-nilly, they'll get what they want out of this situation. Not everybody will, but they will. If you convince them to hold back, you can make it balanced for everybody, including them. They'll get what they want, which I feel like is fair. I feel like that's fine. Susie owes them $5. Susie should give them back their $5. It seems very simple. I don't feel like I'm upset about it. They are heading towards an outcome that will serve them, and it will work out for them. Be aware of that. We just want to kind of convince them to let you help everybody get what they want out of it. I don't know. The Emperor isn't usually patient either, by the way. Be aware of that. This energy is not usually patient, especially when it's got passion behind it. So you might have to work with that as well. And I do want to also put this out here. If letting this person go forward and letting them get their $5 back from Susie and moving on from it, if that actually serves you better, because it seems they're well, that's the end of that situation, let's move on. If that serves you better and you're okay with it, let that happen, whatever works. I don't know if that works for you. I just feel like once the Emperor, if the Emperor moves forward, I feel like the outcomes is what the outcome is. Because again, I'm getting like, they feel like they have control of the situation and they got what they wanted from it. And then they seem to hold, once they get what they want from it, whatever they're passionate about, like for example, they want their $5 back from Susie. Once they got their $5, they're like, all right, get lost, Susie. They're done. They'll pay attention to Susie and see what Susie's doing, but they're not gonna, like if they had a hard time with that, they're like, don't come over here asking for money, Susie. I'm not about it. Get out of here. Go screw somebody else over. Like, if they go forward, it's going to kind of wrap up that situation, and I just feel like you're wasting your time trying to solve something after that. You got bigger fish to fry after that. If that serves you better, kind of like, well, it's a minimal thing, let that happen. Like, because I keep, like, there's something here. Whoever this person is, I want to keep them as an ally. So they're saying, however this works out, we want to keep that person as an ally. So we want to, like, first of all, we want to kind of put this in your court, in your control if we can. Once it's done, make sure the Emperor got what the Emperor wanted, move on from it. Let's not make more of it than we need to. If it works out the other way where the Emperor takes control and does what they want, we want to move on anyway. Either way, we want to move on fairly quickly from this situation, because the finding is making me feel like I'm finding an ally. I just got to be aware of how they work. This is an energy that's going to be a little bit rude and crude. I keep getting that for this. Now, it's not all Aries are rude and crude, but I'm getting like sometimes it's the interpretation. They may not be using rude and crude words, but it's just how they come into a conversation. I have an Aries moon, just to be fair, and a lot of times I think what I said was fine, and somebody will look at me like, not really. I'm like, sorry, I didn't think it was bad. But the way they talk, that's one thing. The other thing is they're not patient. So you need to be very, very, very aware of that. So if you're going to bring something to their attention, they're going to want to take care of it. So you might want to not bring things forward towards them until you're ready to move on it. That's where this energy also, like when I'm getting that in the beginning, I talk about Aries, Aries, Libra, you being Libra, obviously, or the Libra energy. They just think you guys are full of crap, because like when they hear about something, they want to move on it. When you hear about something, you're like, well, let me think about it, let me see what I need to do with it. They take that as like just like not doing anything, or just like talking about something just to talk about it. Doesn't mean that's what you're doing, but that's how they're going to interpret it. If you know that that's how they're interpreting that, you won't bring something forward, I feel, till like, okay, I'm about ready to move on it, so I won't even bring up the subject till I'm about ready to move on it. That way I've already had my time to think. I've already got the information I need. Maybe they have a little bit more information I would like, but I'm going to have to make a decision on that fairly quickly, because that's how they work, and I know that. That way they don't think I'm just kind of like, lollygagging around. And I've already made my mind up that I'm going to move, or I'm going to do something, so they don't think I'm just talking to talk. I want to make sure they realize I'm using this information. So it's helping you color how you're dealing with this person. Because if they're again, they're like, when they see something, they're like, okay, then we act on it. We don't sit around, we just act on it. And you're kind of like, well, wait, let me think about it. It doesn't match with this person. So don't even bring it up to them until you're ready to just about move on it. You do have your card showing up, the Justice card, in your favor. Which also, I want to add a little bit more information, like, don't bring something up to this person until you're ready to move on it. Doesn't mean you're ready to run the marathon, for example. If you want to talk about a marathon, you're ready to start, like, okay, yeah, I'm getting ready, I'm gonna do this marathon, tomorrow I'm gonna start my training, this is what I'm doing. That's literal action forward. Kind of like, I'm not ready to run that marathon today, but I'm ready to start the training tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. I'm going to start the training this Saturday, or whatever day it is. That's enough action. And then you just, like, every day For example, if you're going to train for a marathon, like, okay, this first week, this is the plan. The second week, we've upped it a little bit. The third week, we've upped it a little bit. The fourth week, we've upped it a little bit. Like, you're showing your progress. You're doing a little bit of action every week. That's enough. So I'm not saying you have to go right to completion, but you have to show progress. Every time you talk to this person, you have to show progress and show continual, gradual progress towards the goal. You have to show action. You have to show where the action has been taken to move towards progress. Does that make sense? I think it does. Sometimes less is more too. Don't tell them things you're not ready to tell them. In the sense of, like, if you're not ready to move on it yet, or you haven't decided if you're going to move on it yet, don't tell them. Don't talk about this with them. That was really, like, that's it. That's all we're saying with that. This is somebody very perceptive. They make quick decisions. I already talked about this, but Two of Wands with the Spirit Guide, like, when they hear about something, they're ready to move on it. Some action is required. As soon as they hear about it, it's not real to them unless something is done with that information. Like, for example, you're going to start gardening. Their first action is like, all right, well, then we at least have to watch something about, what do we have to choose what we're going to garden. Maybe we should start researching what we're going to garden. Where are we going to garden it? We're like, well, let's look at spots. Like, they want to, doesn't mean we have to run out and get everything to make the garden today. They want action going towards it. Oh, you're going to garden? Yep, I just ordered a book on Amazon about gardening. So I'm waiting for that book. Okay, acceptable. I hope. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. Is there anything else with that? I think I'm going to end up in the same analogy again, so I'm going to let it go. All right. Hopefully that helps. Hopefully that makes sense. I think it does, but I'll see in the comments. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below as well. Same email. Thank you for watching, and you have a good day.